With us now from Miami, Republican Senator Marco Rubio of Florida. He says he will introduce a bill to postpone the individual insurance mandate until HealthCare.gov is fixed. Senator, good morning.
Good morning.
The individual mandate was debated during the time of passing. The legislation was considered by Congress during the campaign. It was debated. What do you think you can accomplish now?
Well, I think there's those two separate issues that we need to confront. The first is whether Obamacare should even exist or function, and obviously I believe it should be repealed and replaced, but that's a separate issue from the one that I'm raising now with regards to this law that I intend to introduce. And what I'm arguing is this. The law says very clearly, if at some point next year you do not have health insurance, you haven't bought it, the IRS, you're going to owe them money, a penalty. You talked about it in the package that introduced this segment. And the reality of it is it's unfair to punish people for not purchasing a product that they can't purchase right now because the technology that's in place, the website that they're supposed to buy it on, by the president's own admission, is not working. So all I'm calling for is a delay on that requirement until the General Accounting Office of the United States certifies that the website is up and working and functioning and has been functioning for 6 consecutive months. I think that's a prudent approach.
You think it has a chance of passing?
Well, we hope so. I mean, look, I think every week that goes by, it becomes apparent that the problems inherent in the way this website operates are very significant. And I think it's going to be very difficult to reverse this in a number of weeks as we get closer and closer to that deadline. You have Consumer Reports coming out yesterday advising people to stay off of the website. So I think as weeks go on, there's going to be a look for a solution to this problem because it's not fair to punish people for not buying something that's not available.
Senator, good to see you. I want to ask you about what Governor Jeb Bush said. He said that Republicans should show a little restraint on this, maybe let the health care law play itself out and see the massive dysfunction. Do you disagree with Jeb Bush?
Well, I actually think this approach that I'm outlining is a restrained one. I'm not, although I believe that the whole thing should be repealed and replaced, this bill doesn't do that. All it's calling for is a limited delay on the individual mandate until the website is fixed. I think that's a very prudent approach. Quite frankly, I think it's where we're going to have to wind up anyway. You saw yesterday the White House didn't rule out a delay. Jay Carney didn't rule it out because they understand that the problems that this website faces are significant and are going to be very difficult to fix in just a number of weeks.
Does this also mean that there won't be another government shutdown when this comes up again, that you would agree more with the Republican leader, Mitch McConnell, that there won't be another shutdown as opposed to Senator Ted Cruz, who says he's going to do anything to stop Obamacare?
Yeah, I've never believed that we should shut down the government. On the contrary, I voted and supported the idea that we should keep the government open and fund it, that we just shouldn't put any more money into this disastrous health care law. And that's been my position. It remains my position. I mean, one of the most fundamental powers and responsibilities of members of Congress is to fund things or not fund things. And I certainly don't believe we should be funding an insurance law that's going to do so much harm to the American dream and to the American economy.
Senator, I don't quite understand that, so explain it to me. How can you say, one, I don't want to defund it, but I just don't think we should put any more money in it? What's the difference?
Well, that's exactly the same point. If you don't fund it, you don't put any more money into the health care law.
But you don't seem to want to use the word defund that Senator Cruz enjoyed using so much.
Yeah, I believe in defunding it. I actually believe in repealing it, but defunding is a way to repeal it. What the question was about a government shutdown. I never believed in a government shutdown, and in fact, the Senate Democrats had multiple opportunities to fund the entire government. I myself, but not fund Obamacare.
But if defunding Obamacare would mean shutting down the government when this issue comes up again, what would you say? Do not fund Medicare or do not fund Obamacare?
I actually don't think that's a fair way to represent it. I think the right way to represent it is to ask the Democrats who control the Senate, are you willing to shut down the government simply to protect Obamacare? Is Obamacare that important that you're willing to fund nothing unless Obamacare is funded? Because that's the position they adopted. Look, I made a motion on the Senate floor to fully fund Head Start, and they blocked that because it didn't fund Obamacare.
What's the difference in your position and Senator Cruz?
Well, Senator Cruz will have to speak for himself about what his position is on this issue.
You know what his position is.
Well, his position was, at least as far as the last incidents were concerned, his position was that we shouldn't fund Obamacare. I agree with that position, that I will not vote for a budget that spends a penny more on this disastrous health care law.
So you and Senator Cruz are in the same place.
Well, the position the Senate Democrats adopted was, unless we fund Obamacare, we will fund nothing. I don't think that's a reasonable position, but yet that's the position they adopted and seem to have gotten away with in the eyes of some.
Senator Marco Rubio, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Good to see you, Nora and Charlotte. Thank you.